Okay. Well, here we go. So here is the Thor version 2 by Rosewill case. And this one's in black. They also make a white and the white version with the same black mesh on it. So as you can see, we're on the floor because I don't have any way of setting the camera up to be able to get a full view of the entire case with it on the bench because this thing is so stinking huge. So, yeah, so that's always fun. Yeah, so I thought my other case that my Threadripper is in was big. And I thought, oh, this isn't much bigger than that. Oh, no, it's a lot bigger than that one. But that's okay. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we are going to take this side panel off here. Now, these side panels are a little different. They're actually door style, which is kind of a throwback from several years ago. So you actually just lift the back and slide it back. And you can see that is our 200, yeah, so that's our 200 millimeter fan. There is also, you can kind of see it, there's also another 200 millimeter fan up here, and there's another 200 millimeter fan in here. So, yeah, interesting. So, in case you haven't noticed by the name, we're going to call this the Odin. Because Odin can see everything, and so, yeah, this is going to see everything. So, alright, let's get going here. Alright, so we got, that's our cable for our top fan. This is the cable for our rear 140 fan. A rear 140 fan. Most cases, it's a rear 120. This is a rear 140 fan. I mean, in theory, this thing should have airflow, well, really, really good airflow without any issues. We'll see about that. 200s are not known for their pressure levels, and so it could be interesting. But this is the big wire from the front I/O. So we've got our USB 3. We've got Molex connectors for our fan controls. And that's what these guys are. Fan B, Fan B1, B2, and B3. So we have one, I believe it's 1, 2, and 3. So on the side panel. And on the top, get a shot here, you've actually got an eSATA port. So hence the SATA cable. Right there. That goes over eSATA. We have front audio, USB 2, USB 3, and fan speed for A and fan speed for B. So we will have to see exactly what those do. So, alright. Alright, make sure we're lined back up here. Alright, so we're going to take this and we're just going to stuff it in here for now. So this is going to be the case prep. The one thing we're doing with the case prep is we are going to get our kind of a temporary drive in here. So we've got, or not drive, but a backplane. So later on you're going to see the main backplane. But right now we're going to put a temporary one in so we can get our drives and kind of get an estimation for how much airflow we're going to have inside the machine. So this case is a little different. So this panel, this vent panel right here, actually slides out this way and comes out. And then what that does, it gives you access. Try to turn this so you can see. Gives you access to your 5 1/4 bay covers, and then they just pop right out. That's kind of cool. You don't necessarily have to mess around with the whole thing just to be able to get your 5 1/4s out. Now we're going to go ahead and break these out here. Now the reason why we went with this case, now granted this case is not actually, you would think, oh my god, this has got to be like a $200 case. Actually it's not. This is regularly on Newegg for about anywhere from about 150 to $100 pretty regularly, this one and the white one. So, but the big reason for this is, one, we need this here opened up so that way, whoops, leave that in there, we can put this in here. So this, now this is Rosewill's version of this. I don't care for it. I use it in my Threadripper machine and I don't really like it. The issue with this particular unit, and I'll show you here in a minute, but this is a 5 1/4 by 3 to 2, or to not 2, to 4 3.5 inch bay backplane adapter. So, and this one's a trade one. The one we're actually going to use is the StarTech that is trayless, which is kind of nice because we don't have to go through and mount our drives inside these inside the drive trays to get them nice and tight. So, but this particular unit, the outer case is metal, but the trays and the front here and the locking mechanism, it's all plastic. So that's one reason I'm not super thrilled with these. Now granted, they're cheap, and you definitely get what you pay for with this particular unit because they are, I want to say they're like around 20 bucks. So they're super cheap. The StarTech that we use, they retail for around 100 bucks. So yeah, so this one tends to be a bit of a snot sometimes. And the reason why it's a snot is because of this stupid wire harness positioning. Tilt this. So you can see this wire harness right here. Okay, so this is the power plane connector for the backplane. So the problem is that you will get voltage drops on bay 3 right here because, or bay 2, because the drives, the middle two drives will bump up against this connector right here. And so, one, we kind of have to take this and kind of have to smush it down a little bit. If they had soldered it to the back side of the board, like an intelligent person would do, it wouldn't be a problem. Also, but to do that, because the fan sits right on the back of the cage on this, they would have had to create some kind of a spacer to do that. So instead of spending, you know, a penny on a spacer while they're manufacturing these, they create a design that is not conducive to everyday server grade use, is basically how I'll put it. Yeah, it sucks. So I'm gonna snap these back in here. But yeah, so if you were gonna use this in so like in our Epic where we use the StarTech, the reason why we don't use these is for that very reason. They are very fidgety. So if you're in here swapping drives out, so say you've got a RAID 5 in here, you will pull one drive out, well, you might drop 2 drives out of the system because of the way these trays kind of flop around, and that backplane's not very rigidly supported. So yeah, it's a crap design. It really is. But it will work fine as a test bed to be able to give us an idea of exactly how much airflow we're going to have inside this case. Now, I'm going to move this stupid cable around here. Again, crap design, Rosewill. You need to totally redesign this thing. This is, yeah, this thing is just, it's a POS. It really is. So we're going to stick it in there like that, because we need to be able to get this in here so that way we can get this to slide in. And it's wanting to hang up. There we go. And it was hanging up on the cable. So, alright, so now there's that. Now, one cool thing about this case is that the external drive bays are all on quick release. So, which is kind of cool. Oh, those don't come out. They actually... Oh, that's different. Okay. Alright, so that's in there. That gives us a good mock-up. Then we can take our vent piece and we can... It's actually got two little locking tabs in here. This one also comes out as well, but you only have to remove the one side here. So this one slides in here like that, and it locks in. Now, one thing about this case, you'll notice, because it is a lot of plastic, the fit and finish on this is a little to be desired, but we're using this for utility. We're not using this to look good necessarily. I mean, granted, it is a cool looking case, but that's not the primary purpose of this machine, is to look good. The primary purpose of this machine is we need 8 3.5 inch drive bays on this thing for future storage. So that's accessible. Okay, so now one thing I did notice about this, so these locks, these do not come out. So like on a Cougar case, for example, these would actually have a lock, it would twist, and then this whole thing would actually pop out. That is not how these work. These, you actually push them in and then they lock. That's kind of cool, because now you don't have this part that can actually potentially come off during installation or shipping or whatever, and then be a headache. So we lock all 3 of those down, and that's it. That's actually pretty cool. I actually like that. So, okay, now, alright, so this, alright, so we're going to have to take, and we're going to have to move this out of the way. This is going to have to go where it's eventually going to go anyways. So you can also see down here we got 6 caged 2.5, 3.5 inch cages down here. We're actually going to use, actually no, we're not. At the moment, we're actually not going to use any of these. These will be for future expansion. We do have 2 hot swap 2.5 inch SSDs. So I'll tilt this up here real quick. So this one here has a 3.5 inch cutout for a floppy drive. We're actually going to take this out and we're going to use it for our 3.5 inch to 2.5 dual 2.5 inch hot swap bay. That's our OS SSDs are on. So, and let's see, what's the easy way to do that? Okay, so the easy way to do that is actually you can just reach through here and carefully pop that out. So then that will give us our opening for our 3.5 inch adapter backplane. And then all we'll have to do is we'll actually have to take this is there's actually a drive adapter in here that's a 5 1/4 to 3.5 inch drive adapter inside here. We'll actually have to slide that out. Actually, I think I can. Oh nope, it's locked on the other side, so I'll have to unlock the other side here real quick, which is fine because. All right. Flip this behemoth around here. one of those wasn't in there very well from shipping, evidently. That's all right. Not a big deal anyways. All right, so we're going to take this one off. Now, that's one thing I did notice, is these thumb screws are very tight from the factory. So, evidently, they are probably using a pneumatic screwdriver to put these in at the factory. So, thumb screws that are not thumb tight. Alright, and just like the front door, it just comes right off. Now, one nice thing about this case in the opposite side here, we've actually got lots of room in here, lots of recessed depth to put our cables all in here. And we've got tie down points for everything. So that makes it really, really nice, actually. So, and you can see there's our cables for our fans, and looks like, oh, okay. So this is our LED. Now, I believe this one's red, actually. And that's what this button here is for. There's a little tiny button right here. And you push it in, turns the LED on the fan on. Turn it off, and turns the LED off. So that will eventually kind of get tied up nice and neat down in here later on. So, all right. For now, we need to undo this. All right, so first things first. Let's see. Let's do this. Yeah, so this up here is solid because of the drive cage. So there's one USB. There's a mullet power connector for something. That's our HD audio. That's our power LED. This is our SATA for our eSATA. Now, one thing I am hoping is when we get the power supply in here and everything, that we are not going to need an extension cable to run up for power for our EPS on our board. Because all the power connections are on the top side of the board on this, so hopefully that's not going to be an issue. There's our fan control headers. There's our power switch. And then there's our A power headers. So it looks like on this you can actually control six fans off of the machine. Yeah, so you can control 6 fans off the front fan controls on this. So I don't know if we're going to actually be using that necessarily or not. I'm probably going to set it so it just runs off the ASRock fan utility on the system. Of course, these are 200mm fans, so even if we crank them up full blast, they're not going to be that loud. So, assuming we don't have to change them out. If we have to change them out, we'll go to multiple 120s, probably 120s on these. so we can get some more pressure going in, so we actually get more airflow. So, all right, so there is that. Okay, so this for now is just, we're just going to tuck it in here because we just want it out of the way. So, okay, there's that. So we'll go ahead, actually, we'll go ahead and put our door back on. Now you're gonna go, oh, but you didn't lock your backplane down. Well, there's a reason for that. In case we have to pull it out to be able to plug the SATA cables in, which sometimes you do, we want to make sure we got plenty of, I only have to open up one side of the unit. Now this is kind of a cool feature, is this little guy here operates our louvers. So it'll actually vent up through the top. So that's kind of cool. Because otherwise there's just this little tiny hole right here on the back side. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of neat. It's got, I mean, granted it's gee-whiz, but I mean, you do have ample gapping in here. I mean, I can get my whole finger in here. So, you know, see, you know, I can get my whole hand in there, basically through that louver slot. So, yeah, kind of cool. I guess the idea is, you know, if it was just idling, you would just have it closed for dust reasons, and then if you were gaming on it, you would have it open like this. Okay, whatever. We're going to have it open all the time because this thing's going to be hot. It's going to be very hot. So we want as much ventilation as we can get. Okay, so that's our case prep. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get our motherboard pulled out, get our standoffs put in, and then we'll go ahead and do the motherboard and processor and everything else installation. So one thing I've almost forgot to mention is this white box right here. This has actually all of our case accessories. So you have to take the bottom hard drive tray out, lift it up, and not let you get to it. And then I've already opened this up once already. All your stuff's there. One very cool thing that I did like about the way they did this is everything is individually baggied and separated. So makes life a little bit simpler for when you're trying to find screws and everything on this. So that's a bonus. So yeah. All right. We'll see you in the next video. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, make sure you put those in the comments below, and we'll definitely get back to you on those. This is a pretty interesting build, and I suspect there'll be a few questions about it. So definitely chime in. Talk to you later. Bye for now.